Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are finishing this beautiful pink dresser which I have been painting over the last several weeks on my YouTube channel and sharing all the details also on my blog. So if you missed how I prepped it for paint, how I painted it, how I distressed it, and how I sealed it, I will have all of those videos linked in the playlist in the description of this video so you can get caught up to speed. I know that a bunch of you are going to ask, so the color of this dresser is called Arabesque. It's considered a ballet slipper pink, and it's from Miss Mustard Seed's line of milk paint, which I absolutely love and adore. I'm showing you today just some of the finishing touches that I do to really elevate a piece of furniture, make it special and unique for the rooms that I'm putting it in. This, as I said, is gonna go in my daughter's rooms, and so I wanted something that was just gonna be really special for their space and something that I made. Just had a few unique touches that I wanted to add to it. So I'm gonna show you how I added some new knobs on this piece of furniture and also how I used Mod Podge to apply some wrapping paper to the drawers to line the drawers with a really beautiful print. So let's get started. First up, I just want to show you the supplies that I used to line these drawers. I found this really adorable wrapping paper from my local TJ Maxx, which is what inspired me to line these drawers to begin with. I knew I wanted to do something a little extra special because these are drawers that are going to be used by my daughters for years and years, and when I found this beautiful floral wrapping paper, I knew that it was just what I wanted, even though I didn't know I wanted it before I found it. HomeGoods and TJ Maxx as well as Marshalls are really great spots to find affordable wrapping paper that is ultra cute. Next, I have some rulers. Mine are angled rulers, but you don't need anything fancy or special like this. A straight regular ruler will do the trick. I then have a handheld screwdriver to easily secure my knobs in place. I have a pencil to mark the size of my wrapping paper for the inside of the drawers, some scissors to cut the wrapping paper, my paintbrush, and then I have these two white vases here. You could use anything you want, but I'm using these as my paperweights. And then I also have my Mod Podge. I personally like the matte Mod Podge, hence the reason I have it in a gallon size, but you could use any Mod Podge with any sheen that you want. It really doesn't matter, and you don't need an entire gallon. The regular size that you get at the craft store will work perfectly for this project. Next, you're just going to roll out your wrapping paper onto a flat surface and get your drawers out of the dresser and ready to trace. Once I have my paper rolled out and I'm using my various paper weights, I'm going to place my drawer on the paper and push it all the way over to the edge. I'm doing this because I want to be able to utilize as much of this wrapping paper as possible. These rolls don't have a ton of square footage of paper on them, so I want to make sure I get the most out of what I do have. So I'm just going to go ahead and trace around my drawer, and as you can see, the front of this drawer is actually curved. The top two drawers of this dresser are curved and kind of meet at a point in the middle, so the tracing that I'm doing right now is actually not going to fit this drawer, but it's going to mirror and fit on the opposite drawer. And so when I trace the next drawer, it will actually fit into this drawer. So just keep that in mind if you have to mirror your drawers like I am. Now I'm just going ahead and measuring the sides of the drawer because obviously the paper is going to fit in the inside of the drawer, and the measurements that I took just included all of the edges of the drawer. So I'm going to measure how thick those sides are and then use my ruler to make the original tracing that I made a little bit smaller and cut it down to size. Once I have my template cut out, I'm going to go ahead and put my drawer back on the table. This is going to be the actual drawer that this template is going to go in, and I'm going to go ahead and see if the measurement that I just took fits. Here I am just kind of showing you those two drawers side by side so you can see how they're bowed in the center. Mine wasn't quite the right size, so I'm just going to go ahead and make the necessary adjustments so that I can have the right size template for your drawers. You want to make sure that you do this before you start putting any of the glue inside the drawers, because once those drawers are full of glue, it becomes almost impossible to work with them. I now have a piece of wrapping paper that fits snugly inside the drawer and is the exact dimensions that I need it to be before I start putting the glue inside the drawer. It's now time to apply the Mod Podge. I'm just going to pour a generous amount into the bottom of my drawer. You want to make sure that you have enough glue that you can completely saturate the entire bottom from edge to edge. You don't want to have any areas that do not have glue, or it's not going to be even. I learned the hard way after one really bad failed attempt that if you don't have enough glue, it doesn't work, and if you have too much glue, it doesn't work. The problem with having not enough glue is when it's dried and the paper is dried in place after you've got it all situated on there, and you go to apply the top coat over your wrapping paper, then it gets wrinkly. So you want to have enough glue on the bottom that it's really secure to the bottom and it's not going to get wrinkly once it's dried into place and you try to apply the top coats onto the dried wrapping paper, if that makes any sense. So I'm just going to very carefully place this inside the drawer, and then I just used an old credit card and I am going to really press out all of those bubbles and wrinkles. This part of the process really is tedious. I spent quite a few minutes sitting here pressing all those bubbles up, wiping up all the extra glue, and it's kind of a mess, but even though it's not perfect, I'm still really pleased with how the drawers turned out. Here's what it looks like once I've pressed out as many of the wrinkles and bubbles that I can, and I'm just gonna go ahead and let this dry down completely before I start the next steps in the process. Now I'm just gonna repeat the steps of this process for all of the other drawers in this dresser, and then I'll come back once they're dry and show you how I finish them. Now it's time to go ahead and do the final step, which is to seal all of the wrapping paper in place. Make sure that everything is dry before you do this final step, and just using your paintbrush, apply a liberal amount of Mod Podge all over the tops. I wanted to do this because I want it to be completely sealed and much more durable, and it's going to keep the dresser drawers intact for much longer. My daughters are going to be using these dressers day in and day out for years, so I really want it to be durable. I just did one coat, but you could do as many as you want depending on how durable you want this to be. Once you finish sealing all the tops of the wrapping paper, you can let them dry. It may take a couple hours since you've put so many layers of glue on it at this point, but once they're completely dry, you can go ahead and put them back inside your dresser. Now I'm just going to go ahead and securely fasten the knobs onto this dresser. I love the way that these knobs look. They are so beautiful, and the knobs themselves are very high quality, but the way that they fasten to the drawer was really frustrating. So for that reason, I probably wouldn't recommend you buying them. There are some other options that have this same pumpkin style knob on Amazon that would be a great alternative to these ones that probably aren't going to cause as much headache as these ones did for me. The main reason I chose to replace the original hardware on this particular dresser is because I actually have another dresser that I got from a different seller on Craigslist that I'm going to pair together with this pink dresser so that they match in my daughter's room, but because they were manufactured by different companies, they don't have the same hardware, and this is a really easy way to make them look cohesive and as if they are actually a set when in reality they aren't. All right, now that the knobs are all securely fastened and the drawers are back in the frame, this dresser is complete. This has been such a fun project to share with you guys. I have been so pleasantly surprised with how this turned out. Whenever I start a furniture project, I never really know where it's gonna go. Every now and then I have some furniture project fails, even after painting so many pieces of furniture. So if that happens to you, don't ever be discouraged because it happens to the best of us. This was a great project. It turned out better than I had anticipated, and I can't wait to paint the other dresser I have for my daughters this exact same color because I loved it so much. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and go ahead and subscribe to my channel for more videos just like this one. Thank you so much for being here today.